In 2040, created this National Research and Development Agenda, and there are priority areas, of course, under this National Research Agenda. So they identified the National Integrated Basic Research Agenda. So you have the Health Agenda, you have the Agriculture, Aquatic, and Natural Resources Agenda. That's number 3. You have the Industry, Energy, and Emerging Technology. And finally, the disaster risk reduction and climate change adaptation. So these are the different areas, priority areas and programs of our National Research and Development Agenda. So here are the list of priority areas per the priority specific areas for research. So for agriculture, aquatic, and natural resources, it's National Research and Development Agenda for the next 6 years. These are some of the priority areas, and I'm pretty sure these areas would be priority in terms of funding.
So we're going to entertain some questions now. Okay. So, sir, how do Filipinos researchers perform vis-a-vis those in other countries? Are there more?
Our universities and our research institute, we are really a bit below the top universities in Asia. So my reading, although we don't have the data yet, but my reading is that per capita output we are a bit low. There are factors, but my sense is that in the last 6 years, the productivity in terms of output, in terms of budget, in terms of peso spent per person, we have relatively higher growth now compared to, let's say, the last 25 years. So, of course, the problem is that since we are a bit far from the average within the, let's say, ASEAN, the speed to catch up, the convergence issue would be a bit far. My sense is that, in fact, this could be validated by data. The last 5 years, last 6 years, the budget has been increasing in terms of research. That is felt basically at the University of the Philippines system.
So, thank you, sir. So another question from the province of La Union. How could we avail of the services of UP Research Center on Fisheries in order to elevate the research capabilities of our agri-fishery frontline service providers in our province? And second is, are these regular research programs for this purpose?
Well, I cannot answer for the research activities on fisheries. Maybe the previous speaker can answer that. But we are actually collaborating with the universities in Central Luzon. Last month, faculty members from the Tarlac State University visited us, and they would like to put up a research center similar to our research group. And the research director visited us, and we told them about the challenges, we told them about the data, how we started. Of course, we are not yet there very at the high level, but how we hurdle these challenges. So the linkages are there. At the University of the Philippines, I think in Diliman, colleges would also be linking with other universities in Central and North Luzon.
I think maybe it's really maybe the research design. So as you all know, it's very statistical design is also
very important.
Very important in creating research. So I think is it possible for the College of Statistics, Institute of Statistics?
Yeah, we are actually doing it. As I mentioned, we help the Tarlac State University plan their research agenda. We are actually training a lot of faculty members from universities in North Luzon, Central Luzon, and all over the country. So we have faculty members from different universities that are enrolled in our Master of Statistics and PhD Statistics program.
Thank you. Other questions? Yes, please. Okay, so next question is why there is no standard monetary incentive for published researches in the ISI's Scopus journals, as institute universities vary in the incentive schemes. What government agency will spearhead the standardization of such incentives in the country? ISU, Cabana, Pilates, Chow.
Well, the premise there is the budget, of course. It depends on the budget of the institution. No? So the higher the budget of the institution, you will have a bigger funding. That is one very important hurdle, as I mentioned a while ago, funding for this incentive scheme. So the University of the Philippines have already that table, depending on where you publish, what's the rating of the journal. So that can be the standard, but unfortunately, it would really require some additional fund. Maybe at the start, if only few are publishing, but this create really incentive, and after that, you will have some good problem that you have more research output, but most probably the funding cannot cover it.
Yeah. Even in private university, they have different amount of what they give. And I think even in the UST, there's a scheme now for those working. They give also incentive, I think. So even in the UST, I think they also. So okay, let's go to the next question. There is a need to inform other government agencies, such as the COA, that the auditor should not literally interrupt the guidelines that instructors in SUC cover for four functions: instruction, research, extension, and production. And thus, they should not receive additional compensation for undertaking research on top of their salary. Can DOST help inform the COA at the national level that the UP structure on undertaking research and in encouraging the structure should serve as a basis for addressing one of the hurdles that impede research production in many SUCs? There is Soleta, ASCO, Center of ASCO.
Well, I'm not sure why that is still a problem, no? Because we've been doing that at the University of the Philippines for quite some time. So maybe it's just discussion on with the COA. My suggestion there is really, why not visit the Vice Chancellor for Research and Development and discuss how they engage our own COA, because we don't see this as a problem with our COA providing this incentive.
I think UP has its own charter, that's why.
But we're
separate from the charter.
But we're still governed by the Commission on Audit.
Anyway, yeah. So, okay, so can you establish a portal website for all researchers that can be accessed by LGUs? So ENP Marinduque, LGU, BOAC, Marinduque.
I know there is such a website. We have Social Network is one. PIDS, the website of PIDS has a lot of studies, for example, related to policy issues, and I know that it's there that could impact on problems confronting the LGUs. There are a lot of publicly available data, no? And research studies, not in the journal form, but usually working paper, discussion papers that are downloadable. It's now easy to download a paper than say 10 years ago.
Yeah, I think even funding agencies, they have the list of funded researchers out there. Okay, from JM Daturi, DARFO1, how can we harmonize research program projects of the different HEIs, the National Research Institute, as well as national government agencies, to come up with a holistic program to avoid duplication and maximize resources?
The research agenda, I think, would really depend on the institution. No? Each institution will have its own research agenda. In fact, that's the first thing that an institution will have to identify. Very important is collaboration. As I mentioned a while ago, at the University of the Philippines, we have this emerging interdisciplinary research program. So instead of duplicating work, for example, from the point of view of an economist, from the point of view of a physicist even, and statistician, so why don't you just create a team and you have your interdisciplinary research program, and that should be encouraged. No? That should be encouraged at all universities. No? Trying to have this interdisciplinary to avail of the high quality contributions of the different researchers from different institutions.
And I think even in the US now, there's a different setup now. So if it's basic research, it goes to NRCP. If it's depend on the kind of research that you are doing, so I think they channel it to the proper agency. If it's something like agriculture, they bring it to Picard. So I think there's a way now to how they manage the research proposal. So I think it's more systematized. Okay, another question is, why there is no standard monetary incentives for published researchers in ISI's Corpus Journal? I think you have already answered this. So the list of the predatory journals is no longer available. So would this be a national body that can help us identify one?
There is this librarian who facilitated this creation of the predatory journal. It's available in the web, no? So he's, I think, a librarian from the Colorado State University.
Academician said, natural scientist Castillo said that as a researcher, you should basically know what journals are basically predatory. You know? As someone that's an expert on your field, you know where to submit your journal if it's really predatory or not.
Yeah,
it's just a matter of self-check, I think. So okay, another question is, the scientific community is out of a lot of good technologies. How many of these are already commercialized for public good? What is the technology transfer culture? Anybody can answer this. So if you have Facebook page is www.facebook.com/NASFilm. We would like to remind everyone that we would resume at 1 p.m. for the technical session 2. The second speaker for this session is Dr. Percival F. Amoro. Enjoy your lunch and thank you very much. Also, I would like to remind everyone